All right, guys. Some breaking news. Pulled over real quick. Safety first, but regarding Las Vegas Raiders receiver Tyrell Williams having a partially torn labrum. It's in your shoulder. Same injury Jonathan Abram sustained. It's just been reported by Phil Yates from ESPN as well as other Raider beat writers that the Raiders will be placing him on injured reserve. Um, I imagine it wouldn't be the short-term injury reserve. Not the 6 week. It'd be the full season IR. Mostly because that injury. If they're gonna put him on IR now, he probably won't heal enough by then. So he's probably gonna have the surgery now. Having said that, maybe not. Maybe they feel, by putting him on IR, they're gonna open up an extra roster spot for a sixth receiver to carry, and then let him rehab, and then maybe determine if the surgery is right or not. The reason I don't see that necessarily happening is, it might affect him to linger into next year. He's obviously going to be a free agent, I believe, next year, or his contract with the Raiders has no guaranteed money. At a minimum, I know that for a fact. So, there's still a chance he could be a Raider, but obviously, injury plagued, 2 years. Um, and really just a big blow to the Raiders. They were counting on him relieving some of that pressure from the young receivers, especially like a Brian Edwards, a Henry Ruggs. Would have been nice to have a proven 1,000-yard receiver to lean on. But that's not going to happen this year, it doesn't appear. I would imagine, like I said, he's going to be out the whole year, IR. Um, Now, what this does from a team perspective, you look at he was my number one X receiver in the draft, not my number one overall receiver. I would have taken Judy, Ruggs, CD Lamb over him. However, he was definitely one of my favorite players of the draft, one of my guys, and my favorite X receiver, pure X. That's the pure boundary on the line of scrimmage receiver. Um, so look for him to be heavily involved. With the mixture of a Nelson Aguilar, Zay Jones, and then Henry Ruggs at the Z primarily. Um, but yeah, I'd expect big things from Brian Edwards. Ups and downs, I'd imagine, but he's been doing it since age 17 in the SEC. I expect nothing less from a projected season from him. If you want proof, I have him in all three of my leagues I've drafted in fantasy so far. Um, late round value, but I expect, good things from him. There's obviously one football to go around between all the weapons of the Raiders. I'm a big Brian Edwards guy. As it relates to the back end of the receiver room, typically the receivers, only keep six technically. So you got, Brian Edwards, a shoe-in, Renfro, Ruggs. I think Zay Jones and Aguilar are definitely shoe-ins now. And then that sixth spot. And I think it's between, a guy like Keelan Doss or a guy like Rico Gafford. Now, they both offer something very different. Keelan Doss is the big-bodied receiver, typical X type of body. And then, Rico Gafford from the University of Wyoming, I believe, has legit 4.3 sub speed. So he offers something very rare. And now when you're rounding out that room of the Raiders, that last spot comes down to special teams as well. Obviously, you take a guy with a lot of speeds on special teams, so flexibility probably goes there to Gafford. Now, however, with, the true uncertainty of having a legit number one receiver until he goes out there and proves it, in a Brian Edwards, I think he will. But, that slight of doubt, or, he is injury prone. And then, Nelson Aguilar's has ups and downs, same as Zay Jones. However, I expect Zay Jones to be a lot of improvements this year. He looks really good from what I've seen, off-season workout activities. But, taking the special teams out of it, I think this gives an inside track possibly for Keelan Doss to make the team. Not a lot of people have talked about Keelan Doss at all. There was a lot of talk to him leaving, training camp last year and them giving up, getting him back from the Jags, giving him a fully guaranteed deal, and he was, part of the team the rest of the way. But him having that X body type, I think it gives the Raiders maybe not the added special teams like returnability like a Gafford would, or the pure speed burner. But Keelan Doss was a legit X at UC Davis, a smaller school, but really did good at the Senior Bowl. He seems to add a lot of good muscle on his frame. Like I said, I haven't heard anything about him, particularly from beat writers or whatnot. But this opens up a roster spot for that sixth receiver, especially if he's on IR the whole year, which I would tend to expect. So does the local kid from Alameda, Keelan Doss, get a second go around? Just because he offers that X body type. And if it's me, that's kind of who I would go with. Obviously they had Keelan Doss. Um, make it farther along than last year. Rico Gafford, he was activated, first before Rico Gafford. So judging off of last year, he was ahead of Rico Gafford. And then, losing that big body of Tyrell Williams, I think it, opens a spot for Keelan Doss to sneak in as that sixth receiver to add that extra flexibility. He can also play Davis. You'd imagine he's a very smart guy. Knows the system 2 years in. And, from the pictures I've seen and from the, slight videos we've seen, he seemed to add a lot of good body mass and muscle. So for that sixth receiver spot, I think of Keelan Doss maybe sneaking in ahead of Rico Gafford. Let me know your thoughts, concerns. Go Raiders. Thanks, guys.